Hello, everyone. My name is Maya, and I am one of the co-managing directors for the Juvenis Festival. And so we are here today to talk about um, uh, engagement and opportunities. And yeah, we're starting. This is our first segment of our new series, In Conversation with the Juvenis Festival.
Hi, my name's Kate, and I'm the other co-managing director, and I'm really excited to be having this chat with you all today.
Yeah, so we just have a few questions that we're going to be asking each other, and we're just going to be answering. We've done a little bit of research to help support what we've done, although we are not experts in any way. We are youth just like you, and these are our approaches to these questions. So if you have anything else to add, feel free to leave them in the comments, and we can continue the discussion after this. So let's get started.
All right, so our first question is, why is it important to get involved?
Yeah, so I thought I would just start with a bit of research that was performed by the Creative City Network of Canada. And they said that the well-being of communities is really impacted by the arts because the arts are the primary means of public dialogue. They contribute to the development of creative learning communities. They help create healthy communities capable of action. They serve as a powerful tool for community mobilization and activism, as well as build community capacity and leadership.
Absolutely. And I also think too that there's so much benefits to the individual artists and participants who are involved. So for instance, Canadians who who rate art and culture and leisure as excellent in their town are 2.8 times more likely to report a very strong sense of belonging. So I think it just is really important to consider the solidarity and sense of community it builds as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that kind of leads us into our next question. And so this applies more to kind of what the Juvenis is looking for, and that is why is it particularly important for youth to get involved in their communities? And so I guess mainly it's our time to experiment and to learn in the future when we have very a lot more responsibility than we do now. We may not have this flexibility, so now we can make as many mistakes as we need and we can learn from them.
Yeah, and the Juvenis Festival is absolutely the place to do that. We have our little mentorship program set up, and we definitely want to help you learn and grow. And so you don't need to be an expert coming into this at all by any means. And we also find too that studies show that students who have an arts-rich experiences just participate in their communities more. They volunteer more, they vote more, they go to public spaces more often. And again, that also just jumps back to that sense of community that really helps build for youth.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note too that for Juvenis, we're all youth. So even though Kate and I are co-managing directors, we are in the same boat. We are both experimenting and learning from what we're doing and learning from you as well. So it's not just us just watching what you're doing or anything like that. It's about us coming together and creating something really great for the community.
Yes. So now our next question, how have you benefited from getting involved?
Yeah, so for me, I've done a lot of my involvements was to get involved in the arts. And so one of the main experiences I can think of is when I started at a new dance studio. And from there, it led to opening so many doors. I got to have a completely new perspective on dance. I met a lot of wonderful people. I decided on my career path because of the way that that went. And then even today, I'm a university student and I am involved in a lot of clubs. And I take on a lot of responsibility because of that. But I think it's really helped me to become better professionally, but as well as socially. And I've been able to meet so many people and just feel a lot more confident. How about you, Kate?
I absolutely agree with all of what you just said. So I ended up just wanting to find a way to get involved because I went to an arts high school and I needed to meet this extracurricular requirement. And so I just ended up costuming. I went to my local theater company and asked where they needed help, and they just threw me in costuming. And it ended up being something I loved, and still to this day, I really focus on costuming when I do theater. It's like my main area of expertise when I'm working on a show. So I definitely value that experience. And I've also found too, I've been working for Blue Canoe since I got into university, and I know that has really just helped my confidence a lot because there's not many places when you can really get to be responsible for a lot of things as youth. Um, but I think in the case of theater and theater companies, there's a lot of ways where you really get to take charge. And I think for me, that was just a huge confidence booster, and it helped me really learn a lot about myself too.
Yeah, and I think too, getting involved, we've mentioned like very positive experiences that we've had, although it's not always that way. And I mean, we absolutely try our best in Juvenis to make it a positive experience, but just because you might think it of the possibility that it might not be, doesn't mean that you shouldn't take it. I think that regardless of any opportunity or any involvement that I've had, there's never been a time where I've regretted doing something, because you come out of it knowing better, and you come out of it having had an experience, and you can move forward having that knowledge and having that experience with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that I've ever not learned something. Like even when the experience was really bad, I think those were actually the times when I ended up learning the most. So I think that it's always worthwhile to just try, give it a shot. And of course, if there's anything happening and you need to come talk to us, like we're always here. We want to try our best to make things a positive experience for you. So just come talk to us. And yeah, we really hope that we'll see you involved.
Yeah. So kind of leading into that, we also know that there are barriers to engaging, and we know that it's not always simple, and it can be pretty daunting, and it can take a lot of sacrifice. Yeah, so the Toronto Arts Foundation did a study and found that 88% of people see one or more barriers to attending arts events. But then also that they found top three arts participation barriers as well. And the first one is personal. So that could be time, health, daily pressures, which I completely understand. I think both Kate and I can relate to that. We all experience those types of things. Also, there's not having enough information, and also not having enough spaces. And so these are the ones that were found by the Toronto Arts Foundation. Although when we plan for Juvenis, we try and think about what other barriers there may be. So if there's anything that is getting to you, or there's anything that's preventing you from participating, we want to be able to help with that. And so just kind of going, if it's a personal reason, and maybe you need to just evaluate what level of engagement you can look at. If you're not receiving enough information, we try our best to make that not a problem. We share everything we can think of, but we're also both available all the time to communicate if you have any questions. And there's no stupid questions. We're happy to answer whatever and discuss anything. And then not enough spaces. I guess that's more has to do with what like venues and things are available, or when or like how to get to places, things like that, like art spaces. And I mean, this year we're in a unique situation because a lot of arts participation will be taking place online. Um, but again, that's just something that we can work towards. But and that's a barrier in general. So if you're an artist and you're trying to plan something and you can't find space, which I know is something I've heard from a lot of artists, Juvenis is a platform that can help you with that. And so yeah, those are just some of the ways that we have tried to reduce those barriers. But if there's any other barriers that you are experiencing, we will do our best to try and alleviate those and help you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the volunteer experiences, there's so many different ways and levels, as you were saying, to get involved. Project leader, like, yeah, that's definitely one that's a bit more commitment there. But we also have other opportunities, like you can be a volunteer. So that means you can see the performances for free. If you know, you can just be an usher, help with ticket sales, that sort of thing. Um, and you also can help out with workshops and be a bit of a Zoom attendant since we're switching to an online platform. But again, you get to participate or watch the event that you help with for free as a volunteer. So you still get that value as a volunteer as well. And also, I think that, as we were saying before, there's really no bad opportunity. Like any opportunity you get, no matter how big or small, to get involved in the arts, I think you'll still hopefully learn something. And you can let us know what your goal is and what you want to learn too, and we can try to help match you up. Our volunteer program is really going to be geared towards just figuring out what area suits people best and helps them meet their own goals and stuff like that. So you can just let us know what you want to learn, what your goals are, what your interests are, and we'll see where we can place you.
Yeah, so kind of leading into that, with all of those in mind, why is it still a good idea to become a project leader? Um, yeah, did you want to try and answer that
Yeah,
question?
absolutely. So I think for being a project leader, this is really a unique opportunity because this gives you the chance to pitch whatever project in the arts you're interested in doing and actually make it come to life. And we help give you the resources to do that. So we help with hiring a team. We'll use our platform to get information about all of that out. We also have mentors as well. So these mentors are people who have been involved in the arts for a long time, and they're going to be people who you meet with once in a while to just talk about your ideas, do check-ins, see how everything's going, and they give you advice and they really uh, help you grow as an artist too. So I think that this is just a unique opportunity. If you don't know how to get started or where to go, or you're worried that you can't put this project to life, or you don't have the resources, this is why it's a great idea to get involved and be a project leader.
Yeah, and with project leaders, we're looking specifically at just giving youth the opportunity to express themselves and not just kind of for school or on their own time. They can use their imagination and get the community involved. And if you visit the Youth Project Leader Program info package, there is a page that's specifically about what the benefits and perks are of joining. And it can even help with professionally. We offer reference letters. It's great on your resume. We set up community builders so that you can meet with other like-minded youth who may end up being great networking connections. You'll also have the opportunity to network. There's so many great things about it. I mean, obviously it's a commitment, but at the same time, you should be able to get a lot out of it. So I definitely recommend you look at that info package to get a few more of those perks, but there's definitely a lot of good reasons why becoming a project leader is a good idea. And I know like I was definitely in a place at one point where I did not think I was capable of being a project leader. It just seemed like so much. But now looking from this perspective and seeing what the people from the Juvenis think of the project leader program, I think it really is just about any youth. You don't need to have any experience at all to just share what you're thinking of and be able to get an opportunity that many people don't get to have. So, yeah. But again, it is a big commitment. So, yes.
I absolutely agree with that. And I think too, how you're saying, it's not just involvement for school or that sort of thing. A lot of times in the arts, we see there's all these restrictions, like, oh, like this is the player musical we're doing. You have to audition or get involved in this, or this is like I don't know, the theme of, I don't know, whatever event we're doing. These are the restrictions, but you are the one who gets to pick all of that. So there's no restrictions on you whatsoever. As long as it's involved in the arts, you can um, be the leader and decide, okay, what is the plan? What are we going to do? And so I think that's a unique opportunity for youth to see more of the art that they want in the community as well.
And that's absolutely something that can be daunting. Like we are used to engaging in the arts just based on other people's platforms. But at the same time, if you are struggling with an idea or you're trying to figure something out, you don't have to have a fully formed idea when you submit. You just have to have an idea about what you'd like to see, what art forms you'd like to do, how you would like to interact with the community with your event. But all the specifics and all of those things, we are happy to discuss that with you. So your mentor will also be in that position. And that's why we set you up with all of those things, because it can be a lot, but it's new, and it's a really great thing to try. And just because, yeah, you don't really get this opportunity through school to make it anything that you want it to be. So yeah, but
Absolutely.
yeah, but then again, not everyone is up to doing project leader, is to being a project leader. But every project leader needs youth to get involved with their projects as well. So if you're new to the Juvenis Festival, this may be great for you. Or even if you're just looking to be a little bit less involved, we have a lot of other opportunities that are worth taking.
Yeah, we've already touched on some. So we talked a bit about volunteering, but also there's opportunities for auditions. There'll be tons of auditions coming up in the next, just gotta wait a few months, but they'll be here. And then also there's the behind the scenes positions too. We'll be looking for technical directors, um, and so many other opportunities. What other ones can you think of? My mind's running a bit blank right now.
Yeah, I think I just want to mention too that because we're just the Juvenis Festival, we're an arts festival, it means that we definitely have auditions, but we're also looking for musical groups, and we're looking for visual artists. And any way that you're involved with the arts, there is a way to get involved. Maybe you're a skilled artist and you would like to run a workshop, or maybe you know nothing about the arts, but you really want to learn a little bit of something about how to write a song. Then there's workshops that can do that for you. Or even if you are just interested in watching what youth have created, every project needs people to support them, and they need the community to support those projects because they're offering it to the community. So no matter what your comfort level is or your experience level, there is something in Juvenis that can work for you.
Yeah, and I think that's really great to mention too. Just the importance of the audience and just having those people be there to watch and support and learn. And also this year, we're really focusing on making lots of opportunities for everyone. So, for instance, we're hopefully going to have like an accessibility workshop. So, we're really trying to help people learn how we can make the arts more accessible, but also us applying those guidelines as well into all of our shows. And again, it doesn't really matter where you are in the world because we're going to be doing Zoom again. So you can just watch these performances and workshops. Some of them will most likely end up being on Zoom. So I think there's really lots of ways to get involved because you don't necessarily need to have access to these exact locations all the time. Like if you're maybe from like Gananoque and you're unable to make the little trip down, then that's no problem at all.
Mhm. Yeah, and so kind of leading into that, we know that there are, we mentioned barriers already, but one of the biggest barriers I think that we're all facing right now is the COVID-19 pandemic. So I thought we'd kind of finish off by talking a little bit about why it's still important to get involved during COVID-19.
So I think that it's a great outlet. Like the arts in general are a great outlet to just connect socially, share our talents. And I think COVID-19 is a time of lots of disconnect because of the social distancing guidelines and stuff. But at the same time, I've actually been finding through Zoom rehearsals that I still get that sense of community and still get to meet people and learn about people. And I think that that's an experience that's definitely needed right now. Um, and also, 92% of Canadians believe that arts experiences are a valuable way of bringing together people from different languages, cultures, and traditions. So I think that's also valuable to note because the arts are just needed to create that solidarity and sense of community, and that doesn't stop during the coronavirus pandemic.
Mhm. Also, there's a lot of interest among youth for social change, and I think 2020 has proved that. And the arts are an amazing platform to be able to do that in a really strong but really productive way. And so there is a statistic that said that Canadians who attended a performance of cultural heritage, music, theater, or dance in 2005 were 34% more likely to do a favor for a neighbor than those who did not attend, and those who visited a public art gallery were 26% more likely, and historic site visitors were 18% more likely to do so. I think that the arts really allow us to understand one another on a deeper level. And even if we're not directly tackling a certain issue, we can just kind of gain a deeper understanding of each other and have a better and be more empathetic. And we are able to support each other's creative endeavors. And these are things that come from very deep places within us. And they are things that sorry, they really allow us to express our passions and express ourselves. And so to be able to do that and be able to do it in a very respectful and inspiring way can be really effective.
Absolutely. And one last point I want to bring into this question too is coronavirus, although it seems like there's a lot of restrictions for how we can make art, that's actually a great thing because a lot of studies find that those restrictions are actually what helps art become innovative and create new things. So instead, I think for us too, with planning this festival, we're trying not to look at the coronavirus as a restriction, and we're actually trying to see, okay, well, how can we be more innovative, be more creative, think of new ways to do things in ways that are just different and unique. And I think that's just a super exciting time to be involved in the arts when all this change is happening. And also, we want you all to be part of that change and help us create new ways of doing things during the pandemic.
Absolutely. And I think too, going back to why is it important for youth to be involved, we are at a time in our lives where we need to be doing things and we need to be sharing things. And Kate and I are both university. I'm in my fourth year. And instead of approaching this year as being, oh my gosh, I'm not getting a fourth year, I can't do anything, I have to approach as what can I do and how can I push the boundaries and see how far I can get. And with that mindset so far, working on the Juvenis Festival, I think that it's really enriched this experience, and you kind of you kind of look at the pandemic more positively. Obviously, it's not a positive thing. We don't want it to be here, but it is a reality, and we need to work with it rather than just wait for it to end.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Kate, for chatting. I hope that everyone here enjoyed our conversation. Please, if you have anything to add, just put it down in the comments. If you would like to discuss anything with us in particular, just send us an email. They're both on our website. And if you have any topics about what you would like us to mention in the future, we're looking to have special guests on here as well. So if there's anything you would like us to discuss, if you have any topics to pitch, just let us know about that as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, and thanks again for watching.
Thanks, guys.